Have you ever walked into Harbor Freight feeling like you just found a cheap gold mine? A machine that costs only half the price of a major brand. The box is magnificent. The review is 5 stars. You think, I'm probably smarter than those people who buy expensive things? And then, you bring home a pile of scrap metal successfully disguised as tools. The hard truth, not everything cheap is a bargain. Some tools at Harbor Freight only exist because buyers don't know what they're doing. They don't break down right away. They wait until you need them most, in the middle of unfinished work, in the middle of a weekend project, and then betray you mercilessly. That's when you realize you saved $20 only to waste a whole morning, your effort, and your frustration. This video only exposes 10 specific tools sold at Harbor Freight that professional mechanics usually avoid like the plague. Watch the whole thing to see if you've ever fallen for any of these traps. I bet, if you've ever stepped into Harbor Freight on a tight budget, there's a very high chance you've held this drill bit set in your hand. 29 drill bits, about $10, sometimes even given away free on weekends. The box is printed with the word titanium in large letters. Just looking at it, you can tell it's a bargain, and I used to think that too. The first time I used it to drill wood, it was okay, not too bad, but just a few holes later, you start to notice something strange. The drilling is slower, you have to press harder, and the drill bit heats up faster. When it comes to trying metal, it's just not worth talking about. It doesn't drill, it scratches. After raking, it just spins there, making you think you're holding the machine at the wrong angle or that your hands are weak. No, it's not you. The problem lies with the drill bit. That titanium coating is just for show. It can't save a poor quality steel core. The drill bit is so dull that by the time you get used to it, it's already done. And to be honest, there's a reason this dish is often given away for free. It's like a light test. Whoever is new or inexperienced will get caught. If you've bought this set before, that's okay. Almost everyone has. But if you're standing in front of the shelf and hesitating, trust me, skip it, because the next few items on this list will be much more uncomfortable for you. If you're new to DIY, I'm almost certain of one thing. You've picked up this screwdriver set, squeezed the rubber handle, and nodded in your head. Oh, it feels really smooth to hold. This set looks pretty good. That price is fine. I used to be like that too. This set looks very appealing on the shelf, especially to newcomers. The handle is large, covered in soft rubber, and feels firm in your hand. And new people tend to think very simply. As long as the screwdriver feels comfortable in their hand, that's all that matters. But after using it for a short time, you'll find things starting to get strange. The rubber on the handle is starting to loosen and peel off. Then there was a tree, and the metal shaft slowly slipped out of the handle. And with a twist, you heard a snap in your hand. Some trees just need to fall lightly on the floor, and the handle cracks right away. What will you do then? You're not angry at the screwdriver. You're cursing yourself. I guess I used it too roughly. Maybe it's because I don't know how to take care of things. No. Once again, it's not your fault. The problem is that the cushion grip wasn't designed for heavy use. It was born to look expensive. And when that rubber layer deteriorates, the entire screwdriver is considered useless. To put it simply, a screwdriver handle doesn't need to be comfortable, it needs to survive. If you're considering buying this set because you find it pleasant, believe me, that pleasant feeling doesn't last long enough to be worth the money. Oh, if you find these stories familiar, then you've probably bought a few things like me too. Stay on the channel a little longer. You might avoid a few unnecessary frustrations. And trust me, the next few items will make you shake your head even harder. This set of pliers is very easy to buy. It's really easy. You're standing in front of a shelf and see a box with up to 6 pairs of pliers, all types and sizes, and the price is cheaper than buying them individually. At that moment, the only thought that will cross your mind is, well, I can make do with these pliers for now. When I first bought it, it looked okay. Picking it up, it looks just like regular pliers, but after using it for a while, it starts to show its true colors. Every tree is loose, And when you clamp it, you can feel the lack of strength. Sometimes you have to squeeze harder than usual, but if you squeeze hard, your hand gets tired before you can clamp onto anything. Once, a friend of mine told me that he dropped a tree onto a concrete floor. Not tall, not strong, and you know what? It's broken. Not bent, not scratched, broken completely. At that moment, he stood there looking at the pliers in his hand, not knowing whether to be angry or laugh, because, in reality, you already know what you've bought in your head. Pliers are what you use to transmit force directly from your hand into an object. If it's slippery and weak, you'll squeeze harder, slip more, and get more frustrated. Pliers that don't grip tightly are like a torn umbrella in the rain. When you don't need it, you don't think it's a problem. But when you do need it, you realize you made the wrong choice. If you've ever bought this set, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone has bought enough stuff at least once. But if you're watching this video and haven't bought it yet, consider yourself just saved from a headache. If these stories sound familiar, you might want to stick around on the channel a little longer. Whether you sign up or not is up to you. But I guarantee, the next items on this list will make people even angrier than this set of pliers. I'll be blunt. If there's one item on this list I wish I'd never bought, it's this one. 10 cutting discs, dirt cheap. Looking at it, you immediately think, what's the difference between cutting discs? Let's spin and cut together. As long as it cuts, that's fine. I used to think that too. When I first started using it, I didn't notice anything unusual. It cuts, and sparks fly, but just a moment later, you'll see it wear down unusually quickly. I'd only cut a few lines, and the disc was noticeably smaller. Then came the part that sent shivers down my spine. A few plates are starting to crack. It's not a clear crack. It's a silent crack. You're cutting, the machine is running, and suddenly you hear a very small crack. And at that moment, you don't know whether you should continue or stop. I once had a record break while it was playing. Luckily, it didn't hit anyone. But, standing there, you only realize one very simple thing. If this hits your eye or face, it's no longer about money. The cutting disc is something that rotates at a very high speed. It doesn't give you a chance to correct your mistakes. Cheap here doesn't mean economical. Cheap here means a trade-off. From this point on in the video, things will start to get more serious, because the next few items will not only annoy you, but could also put you in situations you never want to encounter in your garage. This jack looks easy to buy at first glance. The price is around $40, and it clearly states 2 tons on the box, which is reassuring to hear. At that moment, the new driver was only thinking simply, my car only weighs a few tons. Those specs are more than enough. A lot of people used to think that, and buy it. But then that first feeling when you put it on the ground, pump it up, and watch the car slowly lift off the ground. It doesn't give you a sense of security. The body is narrow, looking thin. As the car goes a little higher, you start to get an uneasy feeling, like just a slight deviation could send everything in the wrong direction. Not to mention, it doesn't lift very high. With low-clearance vehicles, it's still manageable, but with SUVs or crossovers, forget about it. Don't even dream. Sometimes I hadn't even finished setting up the jack stands before my hands started hesitating. And if you've ever crawled under a car with your mind not focused on what you were doing, but just thinking, I hope this doesn't collapse, then you understand where the problem lies. Newcomers are very likely to believe the number printed on the box. But those who have been doing it for a long time trust their gut feeling when standing in front of the car. This jack can lift a car? That's right, but it doesn't increase your peace of mind? In short, if your heart beats faster than normal when you crawl under the car, that jack is unreliable. Now, this list will mention a few more items that, if you choose incorrectly, the consequences won't just be annoying, but things you'll never want to try in your life. So don't take your eyes off it if you don't want to waste both time and money. This bottle jack is one of the most commonly mistaken items at Harbor Freight. It's small, compact, inexpensive, and looks convenient at a glance. Newcomers often think very simply, I'll just lift it a little and put jack stands under it. Using it once or twice is fine. I used to think that. And that's precisely why I'll never use this type again. The problem with cheap bottle jacks isn't that they can't lift a car. It can be lifted. The problem is the way it's standing under that car. It's narrow, tall, and just a slightly uneven floor, or a slight tilt of the vehicle. And you'll see it start to lean. And when it tilts, you don't have time to think. Everything happened very quickly. I once witnessed a car roll down just because the jack slipped slightly. It wasn't a sudden crash, but a slow slide, enough to leave you standing there frozen, knowing you'd just escaped something very bad. Newcomers often think that stimulation is a tool. Those who have been working for a long time know the jack is what keeps you alive when you're under the car. There are cheaper options because the manufacturer has cut back on features. But there are also cheap items because they compromise your safety. If you're watching this video and find the stories a bit intense, trust me, you're on the right channel. Whether you sign up or not is up to you. But I made these videos with only one goal, so you don't have to learn these lessons the dangerous way. And if you think it's heavy enough from here, the next few items will make you think even harder before reaching for your wallet. This lamp is love at first sight. Compact, bright, magnetic, and inexpensive. You pick it up and immediately think. Attach it to the bike frame. Shine it into dark corners and work more comfortably. That sounds perfectly reasonable. And I also bought not just one when I first used it. It was really bright. Just attach it and you'll see it clearly. But the problem starts when you touch it lightly. Just a touch. Or accidentally bumping into it while reaching. Off. No flashing. No warning, just went out with a pop. Then you have to reach back and turn it on again. And you have to stop what you're doing. Once or twice, I can still put up with it. But when that happens, repeatedly, you start to get annoyed. It's not a major kind of anger, but rather petty annoyances, the kind that make you lose focus. Not to mention it uses batteries, and batteries always die just when you need them most. You change the battery, use it for a while, and then it's back to the same old cycle. The light isn't completely broken, it's just never reliable. The bad thing about this dish isn't that it's too bad, but the problem is that it disrupts your work rhythm. If you keep getting interrupted while doing DIY, even the simplest task becomes annoying. There are things that won't hurt you, but they make you lose patience. And losing patience for a long time leads to losing interest altogether. And believe me, this list isn't finished yet. The next few items will show you. There are things that aren't immediately expensive, but will slowly, steadily, and painfully drain your wallet. Let me ask you a very honest question. Have you ever bought batteries thinking, "Oh well, all batteries are the same"? I do. And that's why I got stuck with these yellow batteries. When I bought it, it seemed so reasonable. A large, inexpensive battery pack, enough to power lights, remotes, and various small items in the garage. There's no doubt about it. It's a battery. Just put it in and it works. When it's dead, replace it. But then you start noticing little things that are very annoying. The light, which was only turned on a few days ago, is already dim. Remote is sometimes on and sometimes off. There are items that haven't been used yet, but when you open them, you find leaking batteries. And the worst part is, you don't realize it right away. You find yourself constantly buying and replacing batteries, but you don't understand why you're always running out of batteries at home. This battery won't just die all at once, will it? It's broken in a vague way, making you doubt one thing after another. Is the light broken? Is the switch broken? Or maybe I remembered wrong. No, it's the battery again. Newcomers often think cheap batteries are economical, but in reality, cheap batteries are a slow rip-off. Each time it's not much, but added up. It's more painful than buying good batteries from the start. What's reprehensible here isn't buying gold batteries, but rather to continue buying it for a second time. And if you think the appetizers are already that bad, then there's nothing more to fear. Just wait for the next course. There are things that look harmless at first glance, but once you use them, you just want to sigh. This is probably a dish that almost everyone has bought at least once. You walk by and see a whole roll of 10 rolls of electrical tape, cheaper than a single roll of good quality tape elsewhere. The familiar thought immediately popped into my head. It's just tape. All rolls are the same. Just use some odds and ends. Why bother buying expensive ones? And so you bring it home. When I first used it, I thought it was kind of sticky, but only for a short time. Problems began to emerge. The tape doesn't stick evenly. It looks okay when you wrap it, but after a few days, the edges start to come loose. When you roll it up, once you let go, it slowly and uncomfortably unravels bit by bit. Not to mention the smell. It's not a rubber smell, but a cheap, instantly recognizable smell. The worst is when you go back to check an old connection. You see the tape dry out, harden, and then peel off in flakes. That's when you realized, this thing isn't meant to protect. It's just meant to temporarily cover things up to make them less unsightly. Newcomers often think that consumables should be bought cheaply to save money. But the truth is, consumables need quality even more, because it's something you use over and over. And when it breaks, you don't just lose tape, you lose time having to start over. In short, 10 rolls of bad tape aren't worth as much as one good roll. And if you thought this was the cheapest and most annoying level, the last item on this list will make you rethink buying cheap items in the first place. I know, the moment I mention this drill, someone will be annoyed. Someone will say, I've been using it for a whole year and it's been fine. What do you need a fancy machine for just drilling a few small holes? And I understand that. Really, this machine is very easy to buy. It's only 5 to 20 compact, lightweight, and comes with a built-in battery. For beginners, it's like a gateway to DIY. Try it out and see if you like it. It's just a few simple things. The problem is, it only does that one roll correctly. Drilling a few holes is fine. Just screw in a few screws and it'll be done. But if you just do a little more, hold it longer, use harder materials, you'll start to see it bog down very clearly. The machine is weak. The battery drains quickly. I have to stop and wait while I'm working, and then start again. The annoying thing about it isn't that it's bad, but it creates a false standard. You use it, find everything slow, heavy, and not satisfying, and then you conclude, DIY must be like that. I'm sure screwing is tiring. No, that's not it. If you think this machine is good, it's probably because you've never held a better one. And that wasn't meant as criticism, it was just the truth. What's noteworthy isn't buying this machine for the first time, but rather, just stay with it, and let it decide how you feel about DIY projects in general. And that's also why I'm making this video. It's not to prove I'm right, and to save you from having to go on a long detour like I did. To be clear one last time before the video ends, this list is not meant to criticize anyone, and even less to say you're stupid if you've ever bought these items. Almost anyone who does DIY has bought the wrong thing at least once, and I'm no exception. It's not uncommon. This video has only one purpose, to save you from paying tuition with money, time, and frustration like I did. You might agree with me, you might not agree, and you've used something on this list that worked just fine. If so, that's great. I really want to hear your story. Comment below and let me know. Which dish do you think I'm being too critical of? Or what's the one thing you bought that you regret the most? And if you like the straight-talking, honest, no PR, no fluff video style, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel so next time you won't accidentally buy a few unnecessary items. And finally, this is my personal experience. Under my circumstances, you are responsible for your own decisions, but hopefully, after this video, you will find it a little easier to decide. See you in the next video.